Britain is hurting today. Manchester was rocked by yet another brutal terrorist attack. Innocent lives shattered, families torn apart, and a nation once again asking the same question. How could this happen? And while the investigation continues, and while police and security services piece together what happened, there is a much bigger question we must confront. Did our own leadership light the match? I am talking about Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Manchester has been targeted before. In 2017, the Ariana Grande concert bombing stole the lives of 22 people, many of them children. Before that, there were IRA bombings in the heart of the city during the Troubles. Manchester has always been resilient, but it has also always been a target. And terrorism doesn't happen in a vacuum. It feeds on division, on weak leadership, and on political decisions that embolden extremists. What do we have under Starmer? A Prime Minister who has failed to take a hard line on radicalisation. A leader who signals weakness rather than strength to those that hate Britain. And crucially, a man who recently moved to formally recognise the state of Palestine. Now, some will say that's diplomacy. Others argue it's about balance and fairness. But let's be absolutely clear. The timing, the messaging, and the consequences were catastrophic. Recognising Palestine at a time when Hamas are launching attacks and when extremism is spreading across Europe sent a signal not to moderates, not to peacekeepers, but to the radicals. Politics is about signals. Every speech, every policy, every handshake sends a message. And Starmer's recognition of Palestine sent the wrong one. To Hamas and its sympathisers, it looked like validation. To Britain's enemies abroad, it looked like appeasement. To communities at home who feel alienated, it created a dangerous narrative. London is on our side. Instead of standing shoulder to shoulder with allies against terrorism, Starmer has blurred the lines. This isn't about Palestinians as people. No decent person denies their right to dignity and peace. But the reality is this: Hamas controls Gaza. Hamas is not a freedom movement. Hamas is a terrorist organisation, prescribed by the UK itself. When Britain's leader recognises Palestine during Hamas's control, extremists see it as recognition of them. And that fuels the fire. Now, let's bring it back to the streets of Manchester. The attacker yesterday didn't act because of poverty alone, not just because of ideology. He acted because the environment around him made him believe Britain was weak, divided, and sympathetic to his cause. That environment exists because of weak leadership. Starmer talks of security but cuts funding to police and counter-terrorism resources. He speaks about community cohesion but refuses to confront radical preachers, extremist networks, and online recruitment. He recognises Palestine in a way that emboldens radicals, while alienating Britain's Jewish community and millions of patriotic citizens who see the Prime Minister as bending. Weak leadership doesn't just fail to stop terrorism, it invites it. Think about Britain's place in the world. Our allies, the US, Germany, Italy, are cautious about unilateral recognition of Palestine. They know the risks. They know Hamas would spin it. But Keir Starmer couldn't wait. He wanted to appear progressive, to win applause in certain circles, to virtual signal on the world stage. And in doing so, he undermined Britain's credibility, encouraged division at home, and yes, created the conditions where extremists could feel emboldened to strike. The message to terrorists was clear. Britain is soft. Britain will fold. Britain will even legitimise your narrative. Terrorists don't need permission. They don't wait for Parliament to pass laws. They strike when they feel emboldened. What emboldens them? Seeing Western leaders weaken their stance on Hamas. Watching governments compromise with radicals instead of crushing them. Hearing that Britain, once a proud and unflinching, now bows to diplomatic theatre, while its own people live in fear. This is the reality. Starmer's policies didn't plant the bomb or pull the trigger, but his words, his decisions, his signals, they created the fertile ground. Britain has faced down threats before, from the Blitz in World War II to IRA bombings during the Troubles. Our people have always stood firm. The difference back then, we had leaders who understood strength. We had leaders who understood that weakness invites aggression. Leaders who never blurred the line between diplomacy and appeasement. What Britain needs now is the same spirit, resilience, unity and strength. But we cannot get there under a Prime Minister who confuses applause in foreign capitals with security at home. Go to Manchester today, speak to the families, listen to their anger. People are tired of visuals and hashtags. They want action. They want strength. They want leadership. Instead, what do they see? A Prime Minister more concerned with global applause rather than national security. A man who thinks recognition on paper will somehow solve a centuries-old conflict, while our own streets run red. The people, they know better. They know weakness when they see it, and they know that weakness in Downing Street costs lives in Manchester, in London, in Birmingham, in Glasgow. So, what do we need? We need a government that stands firm against Hamas and all its supporters, strengthens our borders, our police, our intelligence agencies, cuts off extremist networks, both foreign and domestic, prioritises the safety of British citizens above international applause, unites our communities under one flag, the Union flag, where differences are respected, but where British identity is never compromised. This is about more than security. It's about culture. This is about who we are. And it's about refusing to let terrorism or weak leadership define the future of this country. The truth is hard. Keir Starmer may not have ordered the attack. He may not have known the attacker's name. But leadership is about consequences. And when leadership sends the wrong signals, when a leader shows weakness, when a leader plays politics with terrorism, the consequences are blood on our streets. Manchester deserves better. Britain deserves better. This is not about left or right. This is about survival. This is about protecting our people. This is about recognising terrorism thrives when leadership fails. And yesterday, people paid the price for that failure. Never again. Before I wrap this up, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's viewed, shared, subscribed and supported, and a massive shout out to all of our channel members. And if you want to continue to support the channel, you want to stay sharp and focused, then check out our Combat Ready HQ coffee in the link in the description, combatreadyhq.co.uk. And if you want some of the best supplements on the market, head over to Combat Fuel, use code CH15 for 15% off. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.